Hello everyone, welcome to free crash course for competitive exams held by VIRAT Hindustan Sangham in association with Manifest IAS Bengaluru. This program is inspired by Dr. Subramanian SWAMY and is convened by RAVISHANKAR sir, State Education Convener for VHS Karnataka branch. I am KUMAR, your chief mentor for the program, having the experience of 5 years in mentoring competitive service aspirants. And we have dealt with the major parts of the syllabus. So today your environment section will get completed and I'm going to take up the science part, that is general science part I'm going to take up, and you can watch this program online on the YouTube channel of VIRAT Hindustan Sangham. For getting in touch with us, you can join our Telegram channel VHS space education space forum, VHS education forum. Okay, so we were discussing what? We were discussing the international conventions and organizations. International conventions and organizations. So while ending, I discussed about the Ramsar Convention on wetlands, right? Very important, also called as Waterfowl Convention. So now I am going to talk about the CITES Convention. CITES, what is the full form of CITES? Convention on International Trade in Endangered Species. International Trade in Endangered Species. So very important convention. So you know right, IUCN Red List categorizes the vulnerable organisms, vulnerable species into critically endangered, endangered, vulnerable, near threatened, data deficient, some 7-8 categories it is going to divide it into. So out of which the endangered species, so they do trade in these endangered species. For example, the pangolins. So if you take the example of China, they eat anything and everything, all possible organisms. So even the sharks. So there I told you in one of the classes about the shark fins, soup made up of shark fins, right? So various types of animals they eat. So they want these animals. So even certain vulnerable species, tigers are also traded. So I heard from one Indian Forest Service officer that the entire body of a tiger is worth 1 crore rupees. But it is actually endangered or critically endangered? Tiger. It is endangered. So if you kill a tiger, high probability that you will either get a life-term sentence or death punishment. Right? The laws are very stringent. Okay, when it comes to CITES, so it protects both the plants as well as animals. So both trade in both the plants and animals are protected. So earlier what happened? There used to be unregulated international trade. So if you see Dubai and these Saudi and these countries, they will have tigers and lions in their home. So especially these Dubai sheikhs, right? So that is because of what? Trading, illegal trading, right? So earlier it was unregulated. So after these CITES, the regulation has come. So this is an international agreement which came into force in 1975. That is the year. The year is very important, right? So this is the only treaty. It is the only treaty which talks about the international trade above the organisms. No other treaty specifically talks about it. So today there are how many numbers? How many countries are party to this convention? Totally 176 countries are party to this. And where is the secretary? So who administers this site? See, it is a convention, it is not a body. There is a difference between a convention and a body. So this convention is administered by United Nations Environment Program, UNEP. UNEP administers this. So the headquarters of this is in Geneva, Switzerland. CITES is very important from your exam perspective. It's the favorite of your examiners, right? So if at all some organism has to be traded, for example, I told you yesterday, India wants cheetahs from the Africa. So then this sites gives permits and licenses. Based on this permit and licensing, you can import and export the organisms. So this sites categorizes the animals as well as the plants into multiple categories. It is called as, the category names are Appendix 1 organisms, Appendix 2 and Appendix 3. Not the appendix in your body. Appendix means it's a category group, right? So Appendix 1 andre, which are the organisms, they have highest protection. So these are the species which are threatened with extinction, which are about to get extinct. So they get greatest level of protection. Which of the organisms andre? It is gorillas, sea turtles, plants bandre, lady slipper orchids, even the pandas, they are all come under the Appendix 1. Next is Appendix 2. So this Appendix 2 organisms, they are currently not threatened, but there is probability of them getting into threatened list, right? Then Appendix 3. So these talk about the organisms or plants and animals in the transboundary region, andre between multiple countries. For example, if you take the example of snow leopard, it roams around 12 to 13 countries, right? So there is a need for all these countries to cooperate. So this Appendix 3 talks about the range country organisms across the transboundary. The example is turtles, walruses. So turtles are in oceans. Which country do they belong to? They will be roaming around, right? So all the countries have to protect it. So then this convention also has a COP. See, the Conference of Parties of CBD, Convention on Biodiversity, that is different. UNFCCC is different. CMS is different, right? So all these Paris convention, CMS and a Convention on Migratory Species, and even Paris Convention, there is a Conference of Parties. It is called as CMA. That is also different. So all these things are different. Don't confuse, right? So COP and alladukku onde COP gumpal govinda anta hakbidadalla. You should know, right? So what is the site's role in convention? See, it plays a very important role. It gives a guideline to the countries that you have to prohibit the trade or you have to regulate the trade, right? So it gives 5-year strategic vision. It has got a 5-year strategic vision based on which it is going to perform its function. 5-year strategic vision of saving the animals, right? So what are the goals of this sites? One, whatever the rules it frames, the countries has to comply by it. That is the first goal. Second goal is everything requires what? Protection, money, financial resources. Then cooperate with other multilateral instruments. There are other treaties and conventions, for example, Ramsar Treaty or other treaties. So you cooperate with all these things to save the animals, right? So next, this is about the sites. If you know this much about sites, more than sufficient. It is about trade in endangered species. Next, I am going to talk about a subcategory under sites called as traffic. Not the traffic in Bengaluru. So this is see, traffic andre, it has got two meanings. Traffic andre, the general traffic which you witness. But another trafficking means your article 24 speaks about human and children trafficking andre manava kalla saganike. So illegal trade or movement of humans or children, right? So traffic, it also speaks about illegal trade in the animals. So this is an organization formed by two organizations. One is WWF, Worldwide Fund for Nature, and IUCN. Please write down WWF and IUCN, right? So this was established in 1976 is the year of establishment of traffic. By who establishes this? Under IUCN. Under IUCN, there is a separate commission called Species Survival Commission. Species survival, species, animal survival, saving the animals. Commission is there that protects this, or that form this convention, traffic. So this enforces the sites. Sites, this is the police body. Site convention. This acts as a police, right? So this is a international network. It is an international network which is based in London, United Kingdom, UK. Sorry, not in London, Cambridge. Cambridge in London is the headquarters of traffic. So this is a police body, as I told. So which is the police body for wildlife crime? In India, Wildlife Crime Control Bureau, 2007. This is the international body. So this is the world's largest wildlife trade monitoring authority or body, right? So this sites, it cooperates with the people, it cooperates with NGOs, civil society in order to curb the illegal trade of animals and plants, right? So, but it doesn't completely prohibit the trade, but says whatever the trade of animals and birds or animals and plants, it should be sustainable. So development also is required, but conservation is also required. That is what this speaks about. So next is very important convention. I'm going to talk about Convention on Migratory Species. Why this is important, Andre? There is a specific reason. This convention on what do you mean by migratory species? Are we migratory species now, humans? Are we migrating? You are a migratory species. Okay, do you go to Rangantittu every year 3 months? Huh? So migratory, and yearly it is going to come to the same place, same season. Those are the migratory species. Humans are, see, earlier humans were migratory, but now we are settled. We are largely settled, right? Okay. So why this convention is important, Andre? 2020, in the year 2020, the COP takes place in India just 2 years back. It is called COP 13. Takes place in Gujarat, Gandhinagar. Very, very important, hot question. COP 13, Gandhinagar 2020 li CMS the meeting ನಡೆಯುತ್ತೆ, Conference of Parties of Convention on Migratory Species. Highly probable question, right? So what is the aim, Andre? It aims to conserve terrestrial, aquatic, right? All these animals and birds which travel between the countries, between the jurisdictions of various countries. So this is an intergovernmental treaty, just like other treaties. So this is also enforced by UNEP. This comes under, CMS comes under United Nations Environment Program. See, most of the conventions are under UNEP, please remember. So if there is a doubt, if UNEP is there, you can take a doubt of choice or a chance. You can take some chance, right? So this not only protects the species onde, but their prey. The animals which they eat, their habitat, their migratory route, everything is protected. The climate, everything is protected. So this also divides the animals into various groups. This is also Appendix 1, Appendix 2 animals. So what? So Convention of Migratory Species, it doesn't include plants. Where do plants migrate? They don't migrate, right? So it is only with respect to animals, birds and fishes, right? So Appendix 1 organisms, animals, they are threatened with extinction, high probability of extinction. Those are the first, those come under the Appendix 1 category, right? So this they have to protect the habitat of that animal, the migratory route of that animal, everything they have to protect. So they have a migratory route. If they have to protect, so one country cannot do it, because if an animal comes from Pakistan to India, so we have to cooperate with Pakistan, because the entire migratory route has to be protected, right? So it requires what? International cooperation, right? Next is Appendix 2. Appendix 2, animals, right? So these are not threatened with extinction, but there is a probability of these animals falling into extinction, going into extinction, right? So it encourages the range states. So the countries which fall in the migratory route are called as range states, range countries. So this convention encourages the range countries to take appropriate measures in order to protect the migratory species. So when it comes to migratory, so this CMS is a framework convention. Framework convention. What is framework convention? Right? It gives a broad framework. So internal details, the individual countries can fill it up. So this is a framework convention, right? So, and this since it is a framework convention, this can be made as a legally binding treaty as well, and not binding. Legally binding and whatever the provisions of the conventions, it has to be enforced strictly, or it might be not legally binding as well. So it may ranges from legality to non-legality. So this can also be since it is a framework convention, this can also be take the form of MOU, Memorandum of Understanding between the countries. So there is no strict procedure or strict framework. So the broad framework is given by CMF. So what work has India done under CMS andre? India has signed one MOU called as Raptor MOU. What is a raptor? So this is a bird of prey. It is, I think it is something really similar to vulture. Let me just check it. Raptor, I think it is something similar to vulture. So it looks like a vulture, but not a vulture. Looks like eagle, similarly. So Raptor MOU India has signed, right? So this raptors, they migrate between Africa and Asia. To protect these raptors, the convention has been signed by India. MOU has been signed. So this convention, CMS here, you remember one fact. It is also called as Bonn Convention, BONN Convention. Bonn Convention anta andru onde, CMS Convention anta andrunu onde. So again, it also falls under the UNEP, you know that, right? So India, when did it become party to CMS andre? In the year 1983. 1983, India joined the Convention on Migratory Species, but this Raptor MOU, this was signed in 2008 to protect the raptors. So this is a not legally binding. That's why it is called a MOU. Legal agi, it is not binding, right? So it aims to protect 76 raptors, 76 birds of prey, and birds which prey and eat the animals. They are raptors. It aims to protect 76 raptors, out of which 46 fall in India, right? So India actually signed it in 2016. 2008, this Raptor MOU came into force worldwide. India signed it in 2016. 2016 is the year, right? So, and other conservation MOUs also India has signed with respect to Siberian crane. Siberian crane MOU, marine turtles, dugong. Dugong looks like a dolphin. So where is this occurring? In Andaman and Nicobar seas. Andaman and Nicobar. Dugong. It's a critically endangered species. I have told it under the critically endangered section, right? So which are some of the migratory species? Birds, Amur falcons, right? Black neck cranes. All these are the migratory species. So if you go to Rangantittu or any bird sanctuary, you will find all the migratory species. So earlier Bangalore also was having lot of migratory species, but only we have now migrated and humans, right? So this CMSLE, it says that India, why India is important, India is part of Central Asian flyway ante. Andre See, these animals have their own highways, right? So that is called as flyway. So there is a Central Asian flyway which comes from North Asia to South Asia. So India is part of this Central Asian flyway. That is why participation of India is very, very important. So India is part of the major flyway network, right? So at least, so what are the migratory idandre? So we have 182 migratory birds in India. So that is why this convention is very, very important. So what national effort have we taken to conserve the species? We have a national action plan for conservation of migratory species. There is a national action plan, migratory species na conserve madake. Okay. Then now I will talk about the 13th COP, CMS. So where did it take place? 13th COP? Gujarat, Gandhinagar, in the year 2002, right? 2020, sorry. So what is the mascot? So you know what is the mascot? The dolls which will represent the event. So the mascot was also very important. They will ask it in exams. So the mascot of this COP 13 of CMS is Great Indian Bustard. GB. GIBI. Great Indian Bustard. Where do you find it? It is found in Rajasthan. It is also found in Pakistan. It's a migratory species between India and Pakistan. So India now holds the presidency of CMS for 3 years. So this COP takes place once in 3 years. So from 2020 to 2022, it is India's presidency. So India, what was India's proposal under this, Andre? See, India proposed to include GB, that is Great Indian Bustard, Bengal Florican and Asian elephant. So Asian elephant, African elephant, I have told you the difference. These 3 species, India proposed to include it in the Appendix 1, that is highest protection, right? So why Great Indian Bustard? Why these 3 species special attention is required? Andre, they are critically endangered, especially the Great Indian Bustard. So Great Indian Bustard, what are the threats? Andre, hunting. Hunting is one threat. One more thing is, these Great Indian Bustards, they go and collide it with the wind plants. Wind plant is Gujarat. They go and clash with the wind plant and die. And also they go and clash with the power lines, high tension wires and die. Those are the threats. Then Asian elephants, what is the threat? Elephants, their habitat is being destructed, right? That is the threat. Then Bengal Florican. Bengal Florican, same. Electric wires, right? So next, moving towards the coalition against wildlife trafficking. Before that, I would like to discuss one very small concept called animal culture. What is animal culture? So it is the exhibited behavior by the animals. Just like how humans have a behavior, animals also have their own behavior, right? So that knowing that behavior is very important to conserve the animals. That is animal culture. Animal culture, and don't think it is a festival celebrated by the animals, right? So it is the behavior. So next I'm going to talk about CAWT. CAWT. What is CAWT? Coalition Against Wildlife Trafficking. Coalition Against Wildlife Trafficking. So it aims to do what? End the illegal trade. As simple as that. Illegal trade in the wildlife. So when was this started? Coalition Against Wildlife Trade, it was started in 2005. 2005 is the year. So this CAWT aims to partner with the public and private organizations, both government and the private organizations. It aims to take on board, right? So what are the aims under these objectives? One is wildlife law enforcement. Every country has a wildlife law, but they are not being enforced properly. So enforce those laws. That is the first thing. Then reduce the demand for illegally transported animals. So if somebody wants to have a shark fin soup, put them in jail. Reduce the demand, right? So that is one thing. Then stop organized crime. Organized crime andre people will come together and commit a crime. So there are certain organizations itself which are into crime. So they organize, they plan and organize the crime. That's a very big topic under UPSC mains. So that you have to prevent. Then there is a need for high level political will. Politicians have to pitch in to protect the animals, protect the illegal trade in animals. That is what is important. So this CAWT, it acts as a complement. Andre, it acts as a additional strength to national and international conventions. It acts as a special strength, right? So this actually supports the organization, national and state organization, directly not involved. Directly it cannot go and arrest the people. It just gives the back end support. So next, the organization I am going to talk about is the International Tropical Timber Organization, ITTO. Tropical timber, andre, you know that it is falling between Tropic of Cancer and Tropic of Capricorn. So this was started, it's an intergovernmental organization. Intergovernmental andre, between the governments. Governments have signed as agreement to join this organization. So this organization was started in 1986. 1986 is the year. It speaks about the trade of tropical forest producers, tropical timber, right? So it covers approximately 90% of the tropical timber trade. So this, we get this teak, right? Where does India get teak wood from? Myanmar, Burma teak. So it falls under tropical area. So there it is. So this Myanmar is part of the ITTO, International Tropical Timber Organization, right? So this is what is the work, andre? You utilize the forest but use it wisely, sustainable use. Then implement the international laws towards forest protection. And then you destroy the forest, you have to regrow it. Afforestation should take place, and also need finance for protection of forest, and also maintain data. How much afforestation, deforestation is taking place, you have to maintain the data. That is what this ITTO speaks about. So this is just one fact. See why I am telling you these small bodies, andre, they're my task. What is ITTO? So you need not know who is the founding member, when is the meeting taking place, what are the outcomes of the meetings, because this is not so important body. Then one more forest organization is United Nations Forum on Forest. This body is more important than ITTO. United Nations Forum on Forest, right? So this was established by ECOSOC. What is ECOSOC? United Nations Economic and Social Council. So United Nations, that is the organization which established this UNFF, United Nations Forum on Forest, in the year 2002. October 2002 is the date of establishment, right? So what is the aim? One is sustainable development. Second is political commitment to save the forest, right? Then third aim is, see, under Rio Convention, there is one small sub-convention called Forest Principles. This Forest Principles, Rio Convention, 1992 Convention, Earth Summit. So this Forest Principle speaks about protecting the forest, right? Implementing that is also goal of this United Nations Forum on Forest, right? So this forum has got universal membership. What is universal membership? All the countries are member to this convention. No country is left out, right? So this aims to form an international forest policy. Individual countries have a forest policy. This focuses on international forest policy. So what are the principal functions? One is implement the forest agreements. Whatever the agreements, that is RED plus deforestation. So all those things you implement. Then dialogue among the governments. Government have to talk frequently to reduce climate change and deforestation. That is the second goal. Then enhance international cooperation. Then also keep a track how much progress we are doing. Just like our forest, what is that report? Forest Report of India, Forest Survey of India, right? So that gives a report, right? Indian Forest Report. That forest report, that kind of report, that what does it say? That report, what is the increase in the percentage of forest? So right now it is around how much? Forest in India, that day I told you, 24%. So the progress is tracked by this organization, right? So this also speaks about providing finance to the countries to enhance the forest protection. It also speaks about involving the local people in protecting the forest, right? So under this there is a special mechanism called Intergovernmental Panel on Forest. This falls under UNFF, United Nations Forum on Forest, Intergovernmental Panel on Forest and Intergovernmental Forum on Forest. These are the two bodies. These two bodies, what is the function there? To frame the international forest policy. That is the goal of IPF, Intergovernmental Panel on Forest, Intergovernmental Forum on Forest. These are grouping of people, right? So, see, this Intergovernmental Panel on Forest, it was established by Commission on Sustainable Development. That is the organization which establishes Intergovernmental Panel on Forest. Not very important. But this one more organization, Intergovernmental Forum on Forest, it was established by ECOSOC. ECOSOC, that is also not very important. But UNFF is important. It is established by ECOSOC in the year 2000. That is important. So this has got 4 global objectives. What? United Nations Forum on Forest ke 4 goals ide. What are the goals? One is reverse the loss of forest cover. Forest ene loss agide, you reverse it and sustainably manage the forest. Sustainable management of forest. Then, so enhance the economic livelihood opportunities based on forest. Forest also give employment in various capacities for the tribal people, for even the many type of people, for the rubber industry, paper making industry, right? So all these things. So forest based livelihood should has to be increased. That is also one of the goal. Then the third area is sustainable management of forest. That is the third area. Fourth area is mobilizing the finance. Is the fourth area. Finance for what? Protecting the forest. That is the fourth area, right? So there is one instrument under this United Nations Forum on Forest. There is a agreement under this called as non-legal binding instrument on all types of forest. It itself says it is not legally binding. It includes all types of forest, right? So this is the agreement under UNFF in the year 2007. So what does it talk about? Andre same thing. International cooperation, sustainable management of forest, all these things it speaks about. Okay. So this is about International United Nations Forum on Forest. Now I am going to talk about the very important topic, IUCN, International Union for Conservation of Nature. Very important body. So earlier it was called as IUPN, International Union for Protection of Nature. Later it was renamed as IUCN. When was it started? Year IUCN 1948. 1948 is the year. IUCN is very, very important, especially because of the red list. IUCN red list it publishes, right? So when in France there will be a conference. Based on our conference IUCN is established. So in 1956 it becomes from IUPN to IUCN. That year is not very important. Where is the headquarters of IUCN? It is in Gland, Switzerland. IUCN headquarters is in Switzerland. 1948 Switzerland. These two terms are very, very important, right? So what is the function of what is the vision goal? A just word which values and preserves nature. And there should be justice in the world to protect the forest and animals. That is the vision of this. So the mission is vision. What is the vision and mission? Difference between vision and mission. Vision is goal, long-term goal. Mission is how do we achieve that goal? By taking various steps. That is the mission. So vision document, mission vision is the just word that values nature. Mission is sustainable use of resources, ecological use of resources. That is the mission. So this IUCN, what is the function it do? It supports research, forest-based scientific research, and also it forms policies, environmental policies. It helps, right? So it includes both government organizations as well as non-government organizations. It is not only the government organization. So what are the priority area? What are the areas which IUCN focuses upon? One is that red list. Red list it publishes. Then biodiversity, it focuses on protecting the biodiversity. It focuses on climate change and sustainable energy, human well-being and green economy. All these things it focuses upon, right? So focus areas not important. Just know what are the areas the IUCN is talking about. So next I am going to talk about this global initiative on reducing land degradation. Land degradation andre you know. So UNCCD, United Nations Convention on Combating Desertification. When was it launched? 1994 is the year of UNCCD. So and United Nations decade against desertification and land degradation. When was this decade? 10-year period. 2010 to 2020 is the year UN decade on land degradation and desertification, right? Okay. So this global initiative on reducing land degradation also speaks about the reduction of land degradation. So now I am going to talk about Global Tiger Forum. Global Tiger Forum. What is Global Tiger Forum? So it is an intergovernmental body, multiple governments. So worldwide campaign, it runs a campaign around the world to protect 5 subspecies of tiger. There are only 5 subspecies of tiger it has to protect. So how many countries these 5 subspecies are there? Snow leopard, 12 countries. Tigers, how many countries? 14 countries. 14 countries are the range countries of this tigers. So when was this Global Tiger Forum was formed? In the year 1994. Okay, tell me one thing. Where is the headquarters of GTF? Very simple. New Delhi. This is one of the organization whose international organization whose headquarters is in New Delhi in India, right? One more is, there are 2 more things recent. International Solar Alliance, that headquarters is also in India, Gurugram. And one more is Coalition on Disaster Resilient Infrastructure, CDRI. These 3 international initiatives, the headquarters is in India. Please remember, CDRI, Coalition on Disaster Resilient Infrastructure. Second is the International Solar Alliance. Third is Global Tiger Forum, right? So this GTF meets in a General Assembly every 3 years. Every 3 years is the one meeting. What is the goal? Goal enandre to protect the tiger. Not only the tiger, its prey and its habitat. Prey andre no, the animals it is going to eat. What are the objectives? Same thing. One is wildlife, a worldwide campaign. Second is provide legal protection to tigers. Third is increase the protected area network, tiger reserves, increase them. Then implement the conventions, species protection conventions, whatever are there, implement those conventions. Fifth is scientific research, increase the research towards tiger protection. What are the scientific researchers? So one is that radio collar is one thing. Then camera trapping, DNA analysis, these kind of things, right? So, and also use technology and appropriately train the trainers. Trainers should be trained. So that is one thing. and so it cooperate with other international organizations, whatever various international organizations are there, cooperate with them, and also spread awareness. Awareness has to be spread. So then Global Tiger Forum, there is one more thing called as Global Tiger Initiative. Tiger Zinda hai. Global Tiger Initiative. So this is also a alliance of government, not only government. See, intergovernmental andre it is only the government. So government with other organizations andre multiple organizations will be there. So that kind of organization is this Global Tiger Initiative. It aims towards capacity building. We need capacity to protect tigers. That building is focuses upon, and also stop the demand of tiger products. What tiger products people demand? Mandya side ಹೋಗ್ಬಿಟ್ರೆ ಹುಲಿ ಉಗುರುದು ಚೈನ್ ಅಂದ್ರೆ ಪ್ರಾಣ. So those kind of products, but unfortunately they sell that donkey's nail as tiger's nail. So there also there is cheating, and also tiger skin they want to showcase in their houses as if they have hunted the tiger, right? So that reduction of demand, then safeguarding the habitat of tigers has to be safeguarded, right? Then increasing the finance mechanism. All these are the goals of Global Tiger Initiative. Global Tiger Initiative, the goals, right? So next I am going to talk about very important. So whatever I am going to talk from now, all of them are like, you have to be very careful. And you have to listen, concentrate properly. The first thing is Stockholm Convention. Where is Stockholm? So Stockholm, Sweden. So Stockholm Convention on POP. POP andre plaster of Paris. Persistent organic pollutants. See, some pollutants, they are organic. Organic andre includes hydrogen and carbon. So they persist in the environment. They won't get degraded easily. So the best example is POP ge your DDT. DDT udru salva irbeku say. So that is persistent organic pollutant, right? So this convention, the meeting takes place in the year 2001. 2001 is the meeting. The meeting is called as Conference on Plenipotentiaries. Plenipotentiaries. Andre plenipotentiaries andre. So whenever the term plenipotentiaries comes in your exam, this was asked in UPSC, it is regarding POP, the Stockholm Convention, right? So 2001 only this comes into force, Stockholm Convention. So what are these POP? As I told you, it is organic chemical substances which contains carbon, right? So they remain in the environment for many years. They won't get degraded. They not only they remain, they go on getting distributed, and how do they enter the animal body? Andre via bioaccumulation and biomagnification. Both of things I have told you. Bioaccumulation andre some chemical entering our body is bioaccumulation. Biomagnification andre the chemical increasing in its magnitude within the body. So it is like slow poison. Daily poison kotti, one day the poison will kill it. So that is biomagnification. So this POPs get accumulated in the fatty tissues of animals. Fat alli toxins serkonde it is impossible to dissolve, right? But if it gets mixed with the water, it will come out in urine, right? So fatty tissues, and it causes many diseases. These toxic substances of POP causes cancer, various other diseases, right? So they go on getting magnified. Andre one concentration idu by biomagnification, it will go up to 70,000, get magnified by 70,000 times, right? So initially they were demarcated 12 persistent organic pollutants. 12 pollutants. So they categorize it into 3 categories. Very important. Pesticides is the first category. Second is industrial chemicals is the second category. Third category is byproducts. So what are the pesticides which are persistent organic pollutants? One is aldrin. Aldrin is one chemical. DDT, aldrin, endrin, DDT, all these are first category. Second is industrial chemicals. Industrial chemicals, your PCB, polychlorinated biphenyl. That is one POP. Then byproducts, hexachlorobenzene. All these are persistent organic pollutants. So later on, in 2009, they added 9 more. So to the 12 list, they added 9 more. So what is all those? Not very important. So just remember DDT, aldrin, hexachlorobenzene, PCB, these things. This is what the examiner will also ask. So one, you must also remember one more chemical called as endosulfan. Where was, so this was in news from some 10 years in India. Where is it used? Endosulfan. Huh? Where is it used? Kerala, because of use of endosulfan chemical, there is long-term disability of the agricultural farmers, right? So that's why it was banned actually. Endosulfan was banned, right? So that is also a persistent organic mechanism, pollutant. So India, when it comes to India signed it, India ratified it in 2006. So it has ratified the under opt-out position. Opt-out position, it has ratified it. What is opt-out position? So opt-out andre only those conventions which are internationally recognized, only those conventions will be recognized by India as well. Not every convention will be recognized, right? So this, with respect to this POP, India has notified certain rules. So the rules are notified under Environmental Protection Act, statutory backing, EPA 1986. So what are these rules? Regulation of persistent organic pollutants rules, regulation of POP rules. So these rules comes in 2018, just 4 years before. Regulation of POP rules 2018, right? So what does this rule speak about? It prohibits the manufacture, trade, use, export, import of the chemicals. 7 chemicals it prohibits. What are the 7 chemicals? Not very important. So one of the chemical is pentachlorobenzene. That is the only thing which is easy. Other things are very big names, right? Not very important, but know that there is a regulation given by the environmental ministry, right? So according to this regulation, we have to implement the Stockholm Convention. It makes the implementation mandatory. The regulation makes it mandatory. Not only that, we have to make a national implementation plan to reduce the POPs. Our own plan we have to make based on the model of Stockholm Convention, right? So that is one thing, and also we have to maintain the data of POP, how much POP is produced, how much it is used, where it is saved, all those things, right? So see, if we ratify this POP agreement, we will get funding from Global Environmental Facility under green financing. We will get money from the Global Environmental Facility. Global Environment Facility, which year? 1991. So it is a principal monetary body, right? Money body of the UNFCCC. I have told you in the earlier class, right? So this is all about the Stockholm Convention. Next, very important convention, Basel Convention. Where is Basel? Switzerland. Basel is in Switzerland, right? So Basel Convention. So what is this convention? The proper name of this convention is Basel Convention on Control of Transboundary Movement of Hazardous Waste and their Disposal. Andre, the hazardous waste, hazardous chemicals, they should be prohibited from transporting from one country to other country. That is what this Basel Convention speaks about. See, Stockholm Convention andre POP, Basel Convention andre hazardous chemicals in transboundary movement. You should remember. That is what they are going to ask. So when was this signed? Basel Convention 1989. See, 1989 we signed this Basel Convention comes. India, they will notify hazardous chemicals rules, hazardous chemical movement rules anta. In the same year 1989 India notifies. So any international event, India has a repercussion, right? They notify it under EPA, Environmental Protection Act 1986. Under that they notify this hazardous chemicals rules, transportation rules. Enike andre Bhopal gas tragedy is the reason, right? So why this Basel Convention came internationally in first place? What was the reason? There must be some reason. See, I am talking about movement of hazardous waste internationally. What is the reason? See, during those times, Africa was considered to be a dump yard. So all the hazardous waste of the world, they used to take and dump in Africa. So many Africans used to suffer. So there was lot of criticism from the civil society and international organization to stop this, right? That is when this Basel Convention was formed, right? So what is the objective of this convention? And that to protect the human health and environmental health from the hazardous effect of the hazardous chemicals, from the effect of the chemicals. So we have to protect the humans as well as environment. That is the goal of this, right? So here it categorizes the waste into hazardous waste and other waste. Two categories it is going to categorize. So what are the aims? What are gurigalu? What is the goals of this? One is reduction of hazardous waste. Hazardous waste we have to reduce. When there is less waste, there is no necessity of transporting. That is the first thing. Then sound management. Whatever is generated, that has to be managed properly. Sound management is the second thing. Then restricting transboundary movement. You generate the waste, you recycle it. Don't send it to some other country. That is restricting of transboundary movement. So all these are the objectives, right? So see this here also these wastes are categorized into multiple groups. So annex 1 waste, annex 2 waste anta multiple groups they are categorizing, right? They have categorized. So what first is annex 1 waste. What is annex 1 waste? These are the waste which fall under the convention, Basel Convention kelage the which waste fall under the Basel Convention. They are annex 1 waste. Then annex 2 waste. Annex 2 wastes are actually called as other waste, the household waste, waste from the household garbage. That is annex 2 waste. There are only two annexes, right? Okay. So this is about Basel Convention. So all the waste it talks about, especially the hazardous waste. Next very important convention is Rotterdam Convention. Where is Rotterdam? Okay, tell me, where is Amsterdam? Huh? Okay. Amsterdam is in Netherlands. See, I'll give you a small cheat code. Wherever a city name comes with a dam, it is in Netherlands. Rotterdam is also in Netherlands. So Netherlands are also called as, the people from Netherlands are called as Dutch. Danes andre Denmark. So they are very small country, very small, not as big. I think Bangalore, Tumkur, Eradmur ಜಿಲ್ಲೆಗಳು ಸೇರಿದ್ರೆ ಅಷ್ಟಾಗುತ್ತೋ ಇಲ್ವೋ. Very small country. They also invaded India. Look at our fate. Okay. Rotterdam Convention 1998. 1998 it was signed. So it came into force in 2004. 2004. The year is important. This is the legally binding convention. That is what it makes it special. It's a legally binding convention. So see, this talks about pesticides and industrial chemicals. How pesticides has to be produced and transported. how industrial chemicals has to be managed. That is what this speaks about, Rotterdam Convention. So this since it is a legally binding agreement, this requires a importing or exporting country to have a prior informed consent. And if you are exporting a pesticide or a chemical to some other country, you require a informed consent from that country, right? A letter in writing that we are going to sending this, right? So this came into force in 2004. That is important. The year is important. So see, what is the objective? What is the objective of this Rotterdam Convention? Andre, to cooperate among the countries. Countries have to cooperate among themselves. Why they should cooperate? To reduce the pesticides and harmful chemicals, hazardous chemicals, right? So whatever we are using, these pesticides and all, they have to be properly used, and we need to have a data about it, right? Information about this, how much pesticides is produced, how much of them is used, where it is stored, all these things, right? So the chemicals, the pesticides and chemicals under this Rotterdam Convention is grouped into only one group called as Annex 3 chemicals. Annex 3 chemicals of Rotterdam Convention. See, Rotterdam Convention is very important. So it includes, Annex 3 includes both pesticides and industrial chemicals which are severely restricted. There is high ban on this chemicals and pesticides, severely restricted chemicals and pesticides, right? So there are totally 43 chemicals, 43 chemicals listed in Annex 3. Totally 43 chemicals are there, right? So this is about the Rotterdam Convention. Next, I am going to talk about UNCCD. What is CCD? Cafe Coffee Day. United Nations Convention on Combating Desertification. So I told you, when was it signed? This class only I told you. What is the year? UNCCD. 1994 is the year when it was signed. It is a legal, just like Convention on Biodiversity, it is also a legally binding agreement. Andre, whoever signs it have to legally they have to implement this agreement. There is no choice. If you don't implement, there will be repercussions, right? So what does it talk about? To stop desertification, sustainable land management. Land has to be properly managed. That is what this talks about. So this focuses on a bottom-up approach. Bottom-up approach, Andre. See, sitting in Delhi, what will you know about the land degradation in some village in South India, right? So the panchayat will know which land is degraded. So there should be a bottom-up approach of preservation of land, stopping the land from degrading, right? So local people are involved, obviously, since it is a bottom-up approach, local people are involved, right? So this is actually one of the Rio Conventions, three conventions. What are the three Rio Conventions? UNFCCC, CBD, Convention on Biodiversity. This is one thing, UNCCD, right? So this convention talks about land degradation in the dry lands. Land is getting degraded. Why it is getting degraded? Excess use of fertilizers, pesticides, rainfall, soil erosion, all these things, excess heat, all of these are the reasons, right? So when that is the case, they say, see, desertification, it doesn't mean the normal land converting into desert. It means the land undergoing degradation. That is the meaning. Land getting spoiled is called as the degradation. So this UNCCD has 194 parties, one of the highest number of parties, right? So it aims, what is the aim of this? The aims towards adaptation. Land is getting degraded. What can we do? We have to get adapted to the land and then try to rejuvenate the land. So as I told, 2010 to 2020 is the UN decade against desertification and land degradation. The decade number is important, right? So, and also it focuses on arresting the or reversing the land degradation that I told, it focuses on achieving the sustainable development goals. Sustainable development goals 2030 with respect to land conservation. So what is the approach andre sustainable land management, SLM. You have to manage the land very sustainably andre you put it proper manure, organic manure, you put it proper water, proper nutrients, that is sustainable land management, right? So see, once the land get degraded, the problem is it cannot recover on its own. There should be a recover agate, but it takes thousands of years. But human help is required for it to get rejuvenated quickly, right? So this, when it comes to UNCCD, one more COP is very important. It takes place in the year 2019. COP 14 of, this is a separate COP, Conference of Parties for 2000, Conference of Parties 14 takes place in the year 2019. Conference of Parties of what? Conference of Parties of UNCCD. The conference number is 14, takes place in the year 2019, where in New Delhi. So recently, 3 years back. That is why it is very important, right? So India, what did they adapt? They adapted 4 frameworks. 4 frameworks they adapted. What are the 4 frameworks? One is to stop drought, or to fight against drought, to fight against gender discrimination, to fight against sand and dust storms. Dust storms andre gottalla. Sandstorm, right? The sand will be rotating and coming. That is sandstorm, right? And desertification. To fight against these 4 things is the themes. 4 themes that was agreed in this COP. See why women issue is related to land degradation. See, land degradation happens actually where there is less water. So who are more affected? Women only, because they are the one who have to go 2-3 kilometers to fetch water, right? So if the land is degraded, if the men are in the cities earning, right, they have to do the plowing, tilling of the land. So it affects the women. So women gender issue is also important. So under this, they say bring in innovative approach. I told you, in Africa, they are trying to build a big wall. Big wall for what? Africa, Great Green Wall. Why? To stop the Sahara Desert from moving south. So that kind of approaches we can actually implement. And they say we have to provide green jobs. See, whenever we speak about stopping desertification, it generates lot of jobs. People will get jobs. See, if you are planting trees, if you are digging a canal, so all these things generates lot of jobs. So it focuses on livelihood as well, right? So, and also it says we have to implement a convention called International Coalition on Sand and Dust Storms. There is a coalition on sand and dust storms as well, right? That we have to implement, right? That they are saying. And also we have to start a center of excellence against land degradation. And there should be a center which researchers, scientific research is carried out so as to reduce land degradation. That center of excellence should be there. And also we should, it aims to rejuvenate 26 million hectares of land totally. That is the goal under of COP 14 in 2019, right? So, and also it says climate change is taking place. For climate change, we should have land-based solution. What will be the land-based solution? Afforestation is one of the land-based solution for climate change. So that is about the UNCCD Convention on Combating Desertification. Next, I am talking about International Whaling Commission. What is Whaling Commission? Whales. To protect the whales, this commission is there, right? So this is an intergovernmental body, not very important, but it was asked once in UPSC exam. So this, it is an intergovernmental body, this Whaling Commission. Where is the headquarters? It is headquartered in United Kingdom. That is where International Whaling Commission is there, right? So, to protect the whales, there is an international convention signed in the year 1946. What is the convention? Andre, an agreement is signed. So, convention is, see, agreement is having more power. Convention is next level, lesser power. So, International Convention for Regulation of Whaling. It was signed in the year 1946. Andre, to regulate the whaling, to stop the whaling, right? Signed in the year 1946. See, what is the goal, Andre? To properly develop the whaling industry so that you should not kill all the whales. Properly development of whaling industry. So, and also it focuses on reviewing the review of the national measures. Individual nations are taking various measures to protect the whales. This convention or this International Whaling Commission reviews all those measures, right? So, it aims to start whale sanctuaries. Just like wildlife sanctuary, this organization aims to demarcate certain places as whale sanctuaries, where whales can live happily and complete protection is given to them, right? So, and also it sets the amount of whales. Andre, small whale, how much minimum whale should be there? Medium size whale, how much minimum whale should be there? Big whales, so what should be their number? So all those things it sets. See, which is the biggest whale? Blue whale is the biggest whale, right? So, and also it sets the season. In what season whaling should be done? What season it should be prohibited, right? So, and also it says you should not capture the whale children, the whale cubs, small whales. You should not capture them. So, all these things they have said, right? So, and also it gives report every year how much whales are killed, all these things. But this, since 1986, they have set a zero catch limit. This zero catch limit was asked in the exam. 1986, they set this zero catch limit. So, this limit is in existence even today. What is this limit? It means there should be absolutely no killing of whales. There should be zero catch of whales. That is what they say, right? But some tribal people in the Arctic region, they can do subsistence whaling for their food and other things. But other commercial whaling is banned. Commercially, you cannot kill the whales, right? So, and also it aims to protect the whales against crashing against ships and all those things. So next, I'm going to talk about the important convention called Vienna Convention. Vienna Convention, when was it? So it is about protecting the ozone layer. Vienna Convention. So it was signed in the year 1988. 1988 is the year. So it is actually non-legally binding. It is not a legally binding agreement, right? So, it fights against substances, ozone depleting substances. What is, so one ozone depleting substance example is CFC, chlorofluorocarbon. It depletes the ozone, right? So, this is signed by, Vienna Convention is signed by 197 countries in total. So, this is one of the most highly signed convention. Everything 194, 195, it is 197. So, under this Vienna Convention, there is a protocol called Montreal Protocol. Montreal Protocol comes under Vienna Convention. Where is Montreal? That I forgot. So, Montreal is in Canada. Montreal Protocol for ozone protection, right? So, what is Montreal Protocol? Andre? To reduce or stop the production of ozone depleting substances. Andre, ODS. ODS means ozone depleting substances. You have to stop. That is what they say, right? And to reduce the concentration of ozone depleting substances in the Earth's atmosphere. That is what this Montreal Protocol says. So, what is the relationship of India with respect to Vienna Convention as well as Montreal Protocol? So India became a party to Vienna Convention in 1991, that is the year, and signed the Montreal Protocol in the year 1992. So India actually used to produce lot of ozone depleting substances, chlorofluorocarbons, halogens, right? Halogens, methyl bromide, all these things India used to produce. So after this, after the joining in 1993, they started India National Program or India Country Program anta start ಮಾಡ್ತಾರೆ. Why India Country Program? To phase out the ODS, phase out the ozone depleting substances, to stop the production of all ozone depleting substances, right? So, when these chemicals, CFC and other chemicals, they are used in various industries, right? So what is the alternative for this industry? That is also spoken under this convention. So those industries which are affected, they will get finance for adapting to some other new technology, right? So India, what has India done? Okay, there is a national industrial development strategy, and also so that much is sufficient. So India started a ozone cell, Ministry of Environment, Forest and Climate Change. It has started a ozone cell, and also under MOEFCC we have a steering committee to reduce the ozone layer, and also the India Country Program I already told about, right? So also we are providing exemption, tax exemption for alternative technology. If there is an alternative technology to chlorofluorocarbon, we are providing tax exemption so that they are imported easily. That also is being provided, right? So also India is working to implement the Montreal Protocol in Southeast Asia, ASEAN region. So next I am going to talk about the same under the ozone thing, one important agreement called as Kigali Agreement. Kigali Agreement. This was signed within last 10 years. The exact year I am going to tell you. Kigali Agreement. Where is Kigali? So looks like, yeah, Kigali is in Rwanda. RWANDA, African country. So Kigali Agreement, when was it signed? So in the year 2016, Kigali Agreement was signed very recently. So it started implementation from the year 2019. Kigali Agreement 2016, right? So whoever has signed the Montreal Protocol, they have to sign the Kigali Agreement as well. Both the agreements go hand in hand. So this focuses on, this Kigali Agreement actually amended the Montreal Protocol. It carried out the amendment, and what did it do? It focused on phasing out the hydrofluorocarbons. So instead of CFC, they focused on HCFC or HFC, hydrofluorocarbons. But hydrofluorocarbon, though it is not very harmful to the ozone layer, but it is a greenhouse gas. It is a potent greenhouse gas. That is why Kigali Agreement was signed, right? So this HFC is actually, as an alternative, they were introduced in 1990s after the Vienna Convention. But what happened? As I told, it contributed to the global warming. So this HFC actually, global warming, which is the treaty which deals with global warming, Paris Climate Treaty. So these HFCs were not dealt under the Paris Climate Treaty. So Paris Climate Treaty did not cover the hydrofluorocarbons. So in order to cover it, they carried out this Kigali Agreement. So what is the goal? The goal is to reduce, see, if you eliminate the HFC, hydrofluorocarbon, the global warming, the global temperature rise will reduce by 0.5 degrees by the year 2100. 0.5 degree reduction will take place. So HFC, so instead of HFC, we can have other alternatives as well. What are the alternatives? Ammonia, water, and gases. They are the alternatives, right? So this Kigali Agreement, it started from 2019, those signed in 2016. This is a binding agreement. All the countries must implement it. There is no exception. It is a legally binding agreement. So for the, it says that by the year 2045, there must be 85% reduction of HFC. That is the goal. So it categorizes into three groups. Group 1, developed countries. Developed countries have to reduce 85% by 2036. Whereas second group, developing countries, they have to reduce 80% by 2045. Third group also developing countries. So India falls under third group. India, China, all these, sorry, not China, India, Pakistan, all these countries. We have to reduce 85% by 2047. So that is the goal. Totally by 2047, we have to reduce 85% of what? Hydrofluorocarbon. That is the goal under the Kigali Agreement. So India, as usual, they have taken a step ahead and banned certain things. So India actually completely, it has already removed the HCFC. It has completely banned the HCFC. Where is this HCFC used? You know foam, right? Foam of sofas and beds. So in that foam, the foam blow agbekkala. That blowing will take place because of HCFC. So in the foam industry, it was used, right? Also it was used in cold chain, geysers, everywhere, right? So this HCFC actually was completely imported. It was not manufactured, but MOEFCC, the ministry, completely banned the import in 2019. Complete ban aitu. So the foam industry got affected. So government is providing them technical and financial assistance to get into some other technology, non-ODS technology, non-ozone depleting technology. Government is giving the assistance. So this is all about the ozone protection. So last topic under this, I am going to talk about, not very important, but it was asked in one of the exams, globally important agricultural heritage system. It's a agriculturally heritage, and it is some special kind of agriculture based on our heritage and tradition, and it is globally important. 2 sites are there, actually 3 sites are there. One is in Kashmir. So 2 sites. Okay. So this globally important heritage agriculture, it is recognized by Food and Agriculture Organization. Where is the headquarters? Rome, Italy, right? So this convention or this system recognizes special land use. If a land is used specially for agriculture, that is recognized, and the land usage should contribute to sustainable development, right? That is what. So especially when the climate change is happening, when global warming is happening, if the land is sustainably used, it is going to reduce the climate change. That is the goal of this GIAHS. So there are 2 areas. One is the Koraput in Odisha. That is the first area. Then is the below sea level farming in Kuttanad, Kerala. These are the 2 areas. Kuttanad, Kerala, and Koraput in Odisha. Koraput, they focus on traditional agriculture. Here, below sea level farming, andre mean sea level. Below sea level doesn't mean you go below the sea, but adjacent field, some other field, that field is below the sea level. There you are going to carry out the farming. So there it is actually rice which is being cultivated, below sea level farming in the Kerala, right? So next I am going to talk about last topic under the international conventions and organizations is Minamata Convention. You know what is? So there is one more GIHS, heritage, globally important agriculture heritage system. It is in Kashmir, Jammu and Kashmir, Pampore. So Pampore ali, they grow saffron. There it is called as Zafran. So Pampore, where Kareva formations are there they grow saffron. That is, Pampore is also a GIHS site in India. So Minamata Convention, when was this signed? Minamata Convention? How many years before? This was signed in 2013. So Minamata Convention. So what is it talk about? Anthropogenic emission of mercury and mercury compounds. It is against the mercury. So it was signed in Japan. Japan alli this was signed 2013. So what does it focus on? Anthropogenic emission, human emission, and also transportation of mercury across the countries. But it does not include natural mercury emission. Natural lagi mercury is being emitted. It doesn't focus on that, right? So what is the goal? What are the effects of mercury? One is it damages the nervous system. That is the effect, and also it is a slow poison. It gets bioaccumulated in the body, biomagnified, and causes harm. So what are the goals under this convention? The goal is eliminate the use of mercury, stop the usage of mercury to the minimum, right? Then mercury there is emissions in the coal fire power plants. There that emission has to be reduced. Then whatever the mercuries that are used in the thermometers, switches, right? All the electric equipments, all these things have to be reduced. And whatever the mercury is there, that has to be properly stored and discarded. That is also a goal. Then to provide finance and technical assistance to countries in order to manage the mercury waste, right? And also protecting the human health from mercury damage. That is also a goal. So mercury is very poisonous, right? So this, though it is signed in 2013, this Minamata Convention comes to effect in 2017. 2017 already so this also got as conference of parties, COP, not very important, right? So this from 2017 up to 2015, this treaty is valid up to 2025. 2025 is the year. So this is about the international conventions and organizations. Next I am going to talk about very briefly environmental issues and health effects. What is the environmental issues and because of the chemicals? One is toxicological effects. What is toxicology? That is toxic effects of chemicals on the environment, right? So the pollutants, whatever we release, they act as a toxin on the environment. What are its effects? So we release what? Mercury, iodine, lead, fluorine, all those things. Individual chemicals effect I am going to discuss briefly. So when it comes to toxicology, there is one word called REM. R-E-M. What is REM? REM is a amount of biological damage because of radiation. It is basically related to radioactive material. Because of radiation, how much damage, biological damage has happened to an organism, that is measured in REM, right? So andre because of X-ray or gamma ray, what is the damage that happens, that is measured in REM. So next I am going to talk about the toxicology effect of iodine. Iodine is iodine 131. Where is it used? Nuclear tests, nuclear reactors it is used. So it gets to the food chain, especially it comes out to the milk of the cattle. Cattle milk it is found, and it affects the thyroid glands and especially the children, right? So this is a iodine 131 is a radioactive material. If it is found in the milk, if it is consumed, it is going to cause long-term damage. Then we are going to talk about lead. What is the toxicological effect of lead? So it is highly toxic. It damages livers and kidneys. It damages the central nervous system, right? So gastrointestinal troubles, neuromuscular troubles, the central nervous system effect, all these effects are taking place because of lead poisoning. Then mercury. So mercury, it is a industrial effluent. It comes from the industry. So this, you know, right, the Minamata, the mercury comes out and kills the people in the city of Minamata, right? So that is why Minamata Convention. So the specific mercury is monomethyl mercury. It is found in the fish. So the dead fish, if you consume it, then you are also mercury poisoned by the mercury toxin, right? So this is also found in the CFL, composite compact fluorescent tubes, right? That compact fluorescent light, you are going to find it. Then fluorine. So fluorine is fluoride. Where is it found? Underground water. Underground water, fluoride is there. So the common problem is fluorosis. Fluorosis, what happens? Your bones, your teeth, all of them will become brittle and weak. Brittle and murdogtav easy. They'll become weak, brittle nature, right? So joint stiffness, dental fluorosis, all are the effects of fluorine. And see, it also induces pain. And one more effect is, see, the legs will get bent outward. If this is the leg, because of fluorine, so normally the leg is like this. This is the knee, right? So if the fluorine is affected, what happens? The leg will bend outward like this. Some people will be having legs like this. That is because of fluorine damage, right? So also one more disease called as knock-knee syndrome. Knock-knee syndrome is because of fluorine. So next toxic is DDT. So it is a toxic pesticide. It is long lasting. It lasts for a very long time. In our childhood, they used to put it on that insects, to kill the insects. I don't find DDT now. Maybe it is available, right? So it used to control the mosquitoes, but unfortunately it gets biomagnified and it increases in quantity within the organism's body, especially the fish. If the humans eat fish, they are affected. It reduces the estrogen. What is estrogen? Female sex hormone is called as estrogen. Male sex hormone, testosterone. So it affects those two things, right? And also this gets accumulated in the fat. A fat will accumulate, what happens? It is not going to be easily removed from the body, right? So DDT interferes with the eggshell formation and eggs. So eggs of birds, eggs of various things, the eggs of fish, they will easily get broken. So the eggshells will be harmed, right? So next I am going to talk about lead, the toxic effect of lead. Lead, where do you find? In the paintings. Sorry, not in the paintings, in the paint. Paint, you will find the lead. See, inhaling the lead dust coming out from the lead-based dust, it is actually very toxic for the body, right? That is why you should have good ventilated houses, right? So it causes harm to the young children. Why? See, even though lead is toxic, it is still used by the industries. Why? Because the cost is less. Lead cost is less. Okay. So next I am going to talk about trans fat. What is trans fat? So how do trans fat are formed? When they add hydrogen atoms to the oil, vegetable oil. Why hydrogen is added to the oil? So that the oil doesn't get spoiled. So trans fat is found in the oil. It is deliberately added so that the longevity, the shelf life of the oil is extended. That is the use of trans fat. So it is found in the oil. So it protects the oil from getting rancid and getting spoiled. So this trans fat is very dangerous. It causes diabetes, cancer and all those things. So what have they done? The health ministry has from 2008, they have started issuing labels. On the label you are going to find out how much trans fat is there in this food. But people will eat, how many of them will know about the trans fat? So anyhow, they are going to eat it. So recently there is a trans fat free logo. So if a food is free from trans fat, they are going to put a logo. Just like for green food, they put a logo like this, right? Vegetarian food. Like that, trans fat free food, they are going to put a logo. Logo given by FSSAI, Food Safety Organization of Food Safety Authority of India. Okay, so next I'm going to the next topic is the high caffeine. Why? What is caffeine? It gives. Where do you find caffeine? Coffee and tea. So it is an instant source of energy. You will get that caffeine high. So what happens? See, this is found in the energy drinks. So these energy drinks, they come under the proprietary foods category called proprietary foods in the Prevention of Food Adulteration Act. Prevention of Food Adulteration Act 1954. That is the act which deals with adulteration. Adulteration andre enu? Kalberke. So in black, what is the thing? Mensa, that sasveli, they are going to put mustard. They are going to put ragi, right? And what are the types of kalberke? What all they do? Milk ali, they are going to put water. Huh? Somebody knows a lot of kalberke. Must have done. Okay. So, see, this actually comes as a proprietary food. Under this, one category is there. This Prevention of Adulteration Act, there is one category called proprietary food under this. So, what happened? In 2009, PFA Act was amended and they capped the trans fat, or sorry, the caffeine to 145 ppm parts per million. But this Red Bull went to court and got a stay. So now they put approximately 350 ppm so that you get a energy high. Then I'm going to talk about pesticide toxicity. Pesticide toxicity. See, this is found in the Punjab, Haryana region because agriculture revolution. So if you test the blood of the people living there, farmers, you will find highly pesticide toxicity, right? So how do they find the toxicity? Andre the lab rat. They inject the toxin on a rat in a lab and find out the toxicity. So when they find out the toxicity, one term is important. It is called as lethal dose, LD. Lethal dose term is very important. So what is, if there is a lethal dose 50, if they give a number as LD 50, which means lethal dose 50, means what? If you install this, if you give this chemical, this thing to an animal, and out of 100 animals, 50 animals died. That shows the 50. So lesser the lethal dose, better it is, because less number of animal will die. Lethal dose is more is the lower the lethal dose, the more accurately the more acute is the toxin. LD50, if LD50 is less, andre let's say DDT 100 grams is going to kill 50 animals, right? Let's say one more snake venom. Snake venom 1 gram is going to kill 50 animals. So lethal dose of snake is less. Just by 1 gram it is going to kill 50 animals. This requires 100 gram. So less the lethal LD50 number, more is the toxicity. LD50 is very, very important. So now TDT, it is actually not much used. Now they are using this monocrotopos. There was an incident in Chamarajanagar district with respect to monocrotopos. Which was the temple here where they poisoned 20-30 people died in the food. Marama temple, Kollegal. So that which chemical monocrotopus was used? That lady had got it from his boyfriend and put it in the so it is highly toxic monocrotopus. It is used to kill the pests in the agriculture field. They killed some 25-30 people died. So it's a small temple. Okay. So then the last topic I'm going to talk about is the diseases caused by environmental degradation. What are the diseases? The first disease is your favorite, the Minamata disease. When was this disease discovered? In the year 1956 in Japan. Which is the chemical? Methyl mercury. Methyl mercury. Which was the industry which used to release this chemical into the waters? Chisso Corporation. Chisso Corporation, right? So it caused lot of deaths and also lot of neurological effects on the people, local people, numbness and all those things. So this methyl mercury used to get accumulated in the shellfish, body of the shellfish, and people used to consume the shellfish and they also used to die, right? Then one more disease, Yokkaichi asthma. Yokkaichi, all these diseases, no industrial diseases, everything is in Japan. Because Japan went for like super industrialization. So excess pollution, lot of deaths. Okay. So Yokkaichi asthma. So again Japan, it is because of burning of petroleum. The smog. Smog and smoke plus fog. Which was released because of petroleum burning. It used to cause asthma. That is a Yokkaichi asthma. Then Itai disease. Itai. It is because of ITAI. Itai disease. It is because of cadmium poisoning. Cadmium poisoning. Again Japan, it leads to kidney failure, right? So majorly used in mining. Then blue baby syndrome. Blue baby. So andre, if this chemical is found in the baby body will turn blue. Which is the chemical? Nitrate. Nitrate is the chemical. Nitrate contamination in the groundwater. So what happens? It reduces the oxygen carrying capacity of oxygen carrying capacity of the blood, and the body will turn blue, right? So this is used in, these nitrates are used in where? In the fertilizers. From there it is going to get added to groundwater, from groundwater to people, right? Then pneumoconiosis. This is also called as black lung disease. Lung is going to turn black, that is pneumoconiosis. So this is in the coal industry, people who are working in the coal industry. Then asbestosis, it is found in asbestos industry. The lung will get accumulated with asbestos dust. Then silicosis, silicon industry, silica dust will get accumulated in the lungs. Then emphysema, because of cigarette smoke, the lung will become weak, right? The lung tissues get damaged. So that is the emphysema. Then sick building syndrome. Sick building syndrome, there is no one particular chemical, but it is a combination of chemicals, right? So this actually, even we can get this SBS. Why, Andre? Because of the chemicals in the paints in our environment. So if there is no HVAC, heating, ventilation and air conditioning, we are prone to sick building syndrome. Okay. Some miscellaneous topics I am going to talk about. These topics are very, very important. Facts. So first is the Chipko movement. When was this? So it is, Chipko means what? Hugging the tree. Hugging the tree. So it was in the 1970s in the Uttarakhand, Garhwal Himalayas of Uttarakhand. This was there. Exactly the year is 1974. Chamoli district of Uttarakhand. Why? People, these contractors wanted to cut the trees. So what local people went and hug the trees. If you want to cut the tree, cut us also. So this has got a historical background. There was one person called Amrita Devi Bishnoi. So during the time of Mughals or somebody, so in the year 1730, there was one community in Rajasthan, Bishnois. So the king sent the contractor to cut the tree, crazy tree. So people hugged the tree, including Amruta Devi Bishna. She inspired everyone, but everyone was killed, right? So that is, so inspired by that, they started it in Uttarakhand. Even in Karnataka, the movement was there, called as Apiko movement. Which area? So in the Khalsa forest, right? So in the year 1983. So now this is about the Apiko and Chipko. One more miscellaneous fact is, environment also got ISO standard. ISO, you know, right? Indian Standard Organization. Which are the standards? ISO 14,000. ISO 14,000 is the standard, right? So ISO 14,000 and ISO 9,000. So what is ISO 9,000 and what is ISO 14,000? See, ISO 14,000 speaks about how a product is manufactured. Is it manufactured under a environmentally friendly process? That is ISO 14,000. ISO 14,001, it speaks about environmental management system, how environment is managed by the government. ISO 14,000, good management, they will put ISO 14,001 seal. Bad management, no seal. Then ISO 14,015, it speaks about environmental assessment, assessing the environment, how much pollution is there. Then ISO 14,020, the ISO 14,020 speaks about environmental labels, the labels on the ACs and refrigerators, how a product is friendly to environment. That is ISO 14,020. Then ISO 14,031 and all not very important. One thing is important, ISO 14,064. It speaks about greenhouse gas emissions, how much greenhouse that a product is emitting. ISO 14,064. So just remember, any number with 14,000 ISO and ISO 9,000, it speaks about environmental protection in your exams. Okay, next I am going to talk about one more miscellaneous topic, National Wasteland Development Board. So National Wasteland Development Board, it was set up by Environment Ministry in the year 1985. 1985 is the year. So what is the aim under? To increase the tree and forest cover. In the wasteland, you increase the trees. In the wasteland, you increase the forest. That is the aim, right? So it also prevent the good land. Good andre fertile land na prevent it from becoming wasteland. That is also goal of this, right? So this later on this was actually under Ministry of Environment. In the year 1992, this fact is important. They are going to ask you, under which ministry does the National Wasteland Development Board is there now? In the year 1992, it was transferred to Ministry of Rural Development. So Wasteland Development Board is now under Rural Development Ministry. Okay. Next, I am going to talk about one more miscellaneous topic, bioassay. BIOASSAY, bioassay. What is bioassay? So bioassay andre to detect the environmental stress using some organism. If you, it's just like a, see, they are put the tester on testing the electricity, alva. Just like that, you put an organism in a environment, it will indicate the stress in that environment, right? So it will detect the physical and chemical stress in a particular environment and what is the ecological disturbance in that area that it is going to detect. So fish is the most important organism which will detect the pollution or environmental stress in a particular area. So if you put a fish, if the toxins are more the lethal concentration, what will happen to fish? It will die. As simple as that, right? So why is it important bioassay andre? To determine the safe concentration of chemical, right? So even your good night, see how come good night does it kills the mosquito or it makes them faint? So good night, how come humans don't faint? because bioassay is carried out. So if you put some 100 good night in one room, you will also faint, right? So bioassay is carried out so that good night is not hazardous to humans, right? So ಹೇಗೆ bioassay ಮಾಡ್ತಾರೆ ಅಂದ್ರೆ, so they put one organism to different environments and check in which environment it is showing stress. That is the bioassay. See, there are many types of bioassay: static bioassay, renewable bioassay, flow through bioassay. Not very important, but now I am going to discuss six kinds of species. These species names are very, very important. Directly, low level, high level, every exam they are going to ask. The first kind of species is flagship species. What is a flag? You know, right? What is a flagship? Told you during the earlier times when the commander was traveling, all the ships were traveling. The traveling ship of the commander used to have a flag. That is a flagship. So flagship species, andre, it is a species which is chosen to represent an environmental cause. Snow leopard, it represents what? Protecting the Himalayas. So it is a flagship species, like that, right? So how does the flagship species chosen, andre? Based on its vulnerability. How vulnerable it is, how attractive it is. It should look attractive, or else people will not find it interest. Who will find interest in a snake, right? So not many people, right? So and it should be distinct. It will be looking distinct. So you cannot make a cat as a flagship species, right? It should be distinct, and people should like that animal, right? People should acknowledge it, and also there should be wide publicity given to this animal. And see, protecting this flagship species will extend the protection to everything. See, while protecting the, let's say tiger is a flagship species. So you have to protect the habitat of tiger, you have to protect the prey of tiger, you have to protect tiger as well. So in turn, the entire ecosystem is protected, right? That is flagship species. So India dalli what are the flagship species? Tiger. Africa dalli elephant, African elephant. Then keystone species. What are keystone species? So what is a keystone? So as taught by my art and culture teacher, it's keystone andre, see, if there is a arc like this, so in this arc there will be one stone. So all these are stones. So there will be one stone which will be holding the entire arc. If you remove that stone, the entire arc will collapse. That is a keystone, right? So keystone species andre, addition or loss of this species, this particular species, will cause a major environmental change in the environment. That is the keystone species. If you remove it, there will be a big environmental change. That is keystone species, right? These species are actually very important. So if you remove it, at least one other species will be impacted. Need not be one, many other animals, many species also. So all the top predators, your tigers, lions, all of them are keystone species. Why? Because they regulate all other species. That is why they are keystone species, right? So if you conserve the keystone species, all other animals and plants are conserved, because it is interlinked. Just like flagship species, the conservation will extend to other things. If the keystone species is lost, what happens? The entire ecosystem will undergo degradation. Degradation will happen, right? So the best example is bat, bauli. So that is a keystone species because it is important for pollination, it is important for controlling the population of rats and all those things, fruits and many other things, right? Okay, then indicator species. What is indicator species? It indicates the environment, the level of environment, at what level the environment is, right? So indicator species, see, if an indicator species is present in a particular environment, it will indicate some other species are also present. So it is like this: if a tiger is present in a particular environment, it says that there is definitely deer is also present. So it indicates the presence of some other species. Just like this. If there is clouds, what will it indicate? Rain. Similar to that. So if the indicator species is not there, there will be the entire species set is absent, right? So this indicator species actually displays the character of an environment, particular environment, what character it is. That is displayed by this species. So which is the type of environment? Is it a monsoon forest? Is it a boreal forest? That is displayed, right? So if there is a disease outbreak, if there is degradation, pollution, all these things will be indicated by indicator species. So what happens if there is distress? These indicator species will move away to some other place. So there it will act as a early warning system to show the distress or degradation. Then oceanally, which is the indicator species, fish is the indicator species. Also lichens. On the terrestrial, lichens act as an indicator species. They indicate air pollution. Very good. So next, foundation species. Foundation species. Foundation species andre dominant primary producer in a ecosystem. A species which is a grassland. Foundation species is grass. So which is the most primary producer? Ocean plankton, phytoplankton. So the dominant primary producer is the foundation species, the kelp forest anta irutte. So it is made up of kelp. Kelp is the foundation species in kelp forest. Then charismatic megafauna. What is charismatic megafauna? This is a large animal species which has popular appeal. For example, penguin, elephant, tiger, they have appeal. Kangaroo, it has popular appeal, right? Panda, Bengal tiger, all those things. Then umbrella species, last topic, very important, last but not the least, umbrella species. Umbrella species andre, see, it is a wide ranging species and it is spread over a large area. So this species, umbrella species, requires certain quantity of water, certain temperature, certain pressure, certain kind of food, certain kind of moisture. So the requirements of this species indicates the requirements of other species as well. It is like umbrella. Sorry for the bad umbrella. So if this is umbrella species, so this has got certain requirements. So these requirements cover the entire, all other species requirements as well. That is a umbrella species. So if you conserve the umbrella species, other species are also conserved. So this completes our environmental section. The entire the environment is done. So some 10 minutes is there. So we will focus on the 10 to 15 minutes. We will focus on the basics of science. So when it comes to science and technology, how is it important for your exams? So especially these general studies based exams, right? Now I'm not talking about banking exam or other things. There also they will ask general awareness. They might ask science based questions, right? So when it comes to UPSC, they ask science as general science. But when it comes to other exams, they ask science and technology both. What is science? What is technology? Science andre based on experiment. If you find out some objective truth, right? So that is science, right? If there is rainfall, if you understand the mechanism of rainfall, that is science. What is technology? Technology means implementation of science. So if you understand the mechanism of rain, that is science. But if you use this science to do cloud seeding, so what is that? What is used for cloud seeding? Iodine, silver iodide. So that will increase the rainfall will increase. So that is technology. Understanding science, implementation of science, technology, right? Did you understand with the cloud seeding example? Okay. So when it comes to science and technology, I am going to handle 7 major areas. 7 major areas. Science and technology. First part I am going to talk about is biotechnology. Next, nanotechnology. Third, I am going to talk about information technology, that is your computer science, software engineering. Fourth is robots and robotics. Robotics. Fifth is space science, rocket and other things. Yeah, rocket, space science. Sixth area I am going to talk about is defense. Defense, science in defense. They will ask Allah. This Akash is a air-to-air missile, surface-to-air missile, and BrahMos is what kind of missile? What is intercontinental ballistic missile? What is a cruise missile? What is nuclear submarine? What is diesel-based submarine? Right? All these things. That is defense science. Then I'm going to talk about seventh area is nuclear science. Fission, fusion, all those things. Nuclear technology. Okay. So starting with biotechnology. Biotechnology, what do you mean by biotechnology? It is application. It is application of science to biological organisms to derive a desired outcome. Right? So a microorganism is a biological organism. You use that to develop a vaccine. That is biotechnology, as simple as that. Right? It is used in production of medicines, vaccines and livestock, animals, veterinary care, all those things. So this genetic biotechnology, the main thing is genetic engineering. Genetic engineering and meddling with the genes to twist the genes, tweak the genes to derive a specific benefit, that is genetic engineering. So this genetic engineering concept came in 1970s. Before that there was not much development. So it aims, genetic engineering, what does it do? It aims to play with the DNA. Genetic material is what? DNA. It aims to tweak the DNA. So biotechnology actually can be divided into 5 areas. One is biopharmaceuticals. Application of biotechnology in medicine. Then bioservices. What are the services available? Biofuel and all those things. Bioagriculture. You know what is bioagriculture. Then bioindustrial. Again, biofuel, all those things. Then bioinformatics. DNA test ಎಲ್ಲ ಮಾಡಿಸ್ತಾರಲ್ಲ ಪೊಲೀಸರು, that is bioinformatics. So these terms, bioinformatics, and if they ask in the question, you will be like, what the hell is bioinformatics? So this is bioinformatics. So why do they do DNA testing? So if you have found a dead body, to check and the dead body is rotten, right? You don't know, and two people has come, two families have come claiming that bodies belongs to one of our family members. So they will check the DNA. That is bioinformatics, right? Biotechnology. So when it comes to which is the basic unit of biotechnology, when we talk about biotechnology, we have to talk about biology, and the basic unit of biology is a cell. Cell. So cell, what is it is a membrane bound unit, smallest unit. So it contains fundamental molecules of life, proteins and all those things, the important molecules. So there are also single celled organisms. What are single cell organisms? Amoeba, prokaryotes, bacteria, yeast. So all these things can be single celled, and there can be multi-celled also. There can be special celled organisms also. Special cell, and some cells perform reproduction, some cells perform digestion. That is special celled organisms. So these cells are the building blocks of the multicellular organism. They act as the bricks based on which you build the buildings, right? So human body has how many cells? Approximate. Okay, tell me in lakhs or thousands or crores. 1 crore? Lakhs? It has got 30 trillion cells. How much? So 1 billion is how much? 1 billion is, I also forgot. Yeah, see, 1 million is 10 lakh, right? 1 billion is 10 crores. 1 billion is 10 crores. So 1 trillion is how much? 10,000 crores. 1 trillion is 10,000 crores. So 30 billion and 10,000 crores. 10,000 crores, 30,000, 3 lakh crores. So human body has 3 lakh crores. So they say generally if you just wipe your hand like this, lakhs of cell will die. Just by wiping, right? Lakhs of cell will die. So what is cancer actually? Cancer is excessive generation of cell. Cancer andre, it is not something, some alien bacteria, nothing. See, lakhs of cells are dying, lakhs of cells are getting regenerated, alva. So when this regeneration, dying, they should be in proper balance. If there is excess death, the person will die. If there is excess growth of a cell, that is what gets converted into cancer. Cancer is not something special. It is excess growth of cells. Normal cells only will excessively grow. That is cancer, right? Okay, so cell alli bandre, which is the most important organ of the cell. It is the nucleus of the cell. It is the most so it is called as the CPU of the cell, control center of the cell, right? So it contains cells, genes. Cells, genes are within the nucleus, right? So I'm going to discuss all that. It controls the cell's growth and reproduction. How much the cell is going to reproduce. Lakhs of cells are getting regenerated. How they are getting regenerated, right? So this contains chromosomes. Chromosomes they are thread-like structures. So inside the chromosome there is gene. Inside the gene there is DNA. Understood? So I am going to tell all that, right? So first I am going to show you the diagram of a plant cell and animal cell. So chromosome, what is a chromosome? Chromosome is a thread-like structure. It is a thread-like structure. It is inside the nucleus. It is inside the nucleus. It is made up of protein. What protein? It is made up of protein and DNA. What is the full form of DNA? Deoxyribonucleic acid, DNA. So it is a single molecule of DNA which is there. So this DNA contains specific instructions. So if your nose is like this, if your ears is like this, eyes is like this, and if it resembles your father or mother, it is because of DNA information. See, memory is not only saved in your brain, it is there in each and every cell of the body. Body is the biggest memory. See, if you get a similar face of your father, what does it mean? The body has memory, right? If the heart is beating at a particular frequency, it has got memory, so it has been beating the same frequency across all humans from thousands of years, lakhs of years. So it has got memory, body. So generally memory, and we confine it to only intellectual memory, knowledge memory. Body has got more memory than the brain, right? So I time humans understand this, right? So when it comes to chromosomes, how many chromosomes are there? 23 pairs of chromosomes are there. So totally 22 pairs of chromosomes are numbered. There are 22 pairs are called autosomes. Only one pair will make the difference, X and Y. They will determine whether a kid is male or female, right? So XX bandre, is it female? XY bandre, it is male kid, right? So one chromosome, 23 pair of chromosomes bandre, one pair from the mother, one pair from the father. So body is such an intelligent machine. So each parent gives one chromosome, 23 chromosomes from mother, 123 from father, right? So then nucleic acid. So this nucleic acid is present within the nucleus. right? So they transfer the genetic information, the genes, the DNA and all the genetic information is transformed by the nucleic acids, right? From one generation to next generation. So this store the genetic information and traits. Nucleic acid alli save agutte the genetics information. So if you are a highly stressful person, the stress is going to get saved. So it is going to impact, it is highly probable your kid is also a stressful person. So it is going to get coded in the nucleic acids, in the DNA, right? So these nucleic acids make the proteins synthesis. See, everything is made up of proteins, right? Protein generation is what making us alive. So protein generation is also based because of the nucleic acids. So I'm going to end this session by showing the animal and plant cell images. See, is it visible? ಕಾಣಿಸ್ತಿದೇನಪ್ಪ? Okay. See, this is a plant cell, this is animal cell. It is more round, this is more elongated. So, idralli you know, right? Golgi apparatus, mitochondria, powerhouse of the cell, right? Chloroplast. These are organisms with special functions. This is nucleus. Nucleus olage you have nucleolus, vacuoles, cytoplasm. This is cytoplasm is a kind of fluid. So you are going to find the same cytoplasm in human cells also, but you won't find vacuoles. Vacuoles are not present in animal cell. Please remember, they are going to ask. Amele cell wall, yeah, both of them have cell wall, but cell membrane. Plant cell has a cell membrane, animal cell doesn't have a cell membrane. Endoplasmic reticulum, that is also not present in animal cell. Endoplasmic reticulum illa. Here it mitochondria, it is here as well. Nucleus is there, nucleolus is there. Some rough endoplasmic reticulum. See, there is endoplasmic reticulum, but it is in a different structure within the animal cell. So nucleolus. So this is the basic difference. So one thing what you have to do is you Google today plant and animal cell, find out the function of each and every part, right? What this do? It is going to be asked in your exam. What does Golgi apparatus do? What does chloroplast do? What does cytoplasm do? Fluid cytoplasm. What does vacuole do? What does ribosome do? Everything you have to find out and tell me in the upcoming class. So I'm going to end the class here. So if you have any doubts, please put it in the comment section or contact us on our Telegram channel, VHS Education Forum. Please take good care of your health. Please make good use of the classes. I'm going to meet you in the next class. Until then, take care. Jai Hind. Namaste.